Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be sharing one of my little beauty secrets with you. I've talked about it on this channel many times before, but I have a lot of gray hair. I actually think it's white hair, maybe a little combo, but a lot of the hair that grows in around my hairline is white. And I go to the salon religiously every 4 weeks to have my roots dyed. As much as I love doing that, as much as I love my stylist, it is really expensive. It adds up very quickly. That's enough on its own, and then add in haircuts, highlights, and any other treatments I want to have done. We're looking at thousands of dollars a year on our hair. In the past, I've actually dyed my own hair before. I've used all kinds of root cover-up kits. And last year during quarantine, when the salons were completely closed, I had no option but to revisit some of these at-home kits. And I found one product that I absolutely loved. It completely changed my life. It made dyeing my roots so much easier, and today I'm going to share it with you. The kit I'm talking about is the Revlon Root Erase. I love this dye for so many different reasons. For starters, it's completely mess-free. The developer and the color are in the same exact bottle, so you don't have to do any crazy mixing or measuring. It's all there for you. They say you can use this up to 3 times, but I bought one box during quarantine and I used it at least 6 times. Probably because I didn't do my whole head. I just did the front and the T part pretty much, but you can get multiple uses out of this. I find the color match to be pretty spot on. Like, I just feel like a new woman every time I use it. It's quick, it's easy. I do it right before I hop in the shower, and it is just one of those products that has totally changed my life, and I recently decided to revisit it. We've had a very busy summer and a really busy fall, and I just haven't had much time to head to the salon. So when I was headed to the beach a couple weeks ago and I needed my hair done and couldn't make my appointment, I was like, you know what, let me go find another box of this and try it out again. This time I actually picked the shade medium brown number 5. I had been using, I think, light brown, and it was just a little too red for me, and this color is like exact. So right now I'm going to show you a step-by-step of how I dye my roots with the Revlon Root Erase. All right, here is my hair pre-dyed. It doesn't look that bad because I just had my roots done about 2.5 weeks ago, but you can see where the gray and white hairs are starting to come in. Before we get started, I like to take Aquaphor, Vaseline, or any kind of lotion really, and apply it to the forehead and around the hairline. This is going to serve as a barrier between the skin and the dye because the dye can and it will stain your skin. It's such a pain, but you can do a couple things to prevent it, and this is one of my favorites to do. Make sure you get your sideburn area as well, and a little on the lips for good measure. Why not? Gloves are non-negotiable when dyeing your hair. The kit actually comes with a pair, but I prefer to use my own. They're a little more snug and easier to work with. Once the gloves are on, it's time to grab our Revlon Root Erase. I am using shade medium brown. It comes in this nice little canister. It comes with a little mixing brush as well as a lid that can double as a mixing bowl. And this is the coolest part, the dual dispenser. So one side is the dye and one side is the developer. So it is all in one. There is no measuring involved. Use as much or as little of this product as you need depending on how much of the area you plan to cover, but mix it up really well. And remember, you can always go back and add a little more, which is a nice touch. But once it's completely mixed, you're going to start applying it to the hair. I always start right in the front because that is what's most obvious to me, and that's what bothers me the most, and I want that color to sit there and saturate and soak into that hair the longest. So I make my way around my hairline very gently in small strokes, just applying a little bit of color. I'm pretty conservative with it because I can always go back and add more. I also don't want to over color, so I really try to stick to pretty much the areas that need to be colored, so just the gray hairs. Then I use the back of the brush and start to comb out certain sections so I can apply to the grays that may be growing in my temple area or on the side of my head. You want to be careful not to get the dye on any other hair or on your fingers. Try to keep it as clean as possible. I know it can be easier said than done, but overall I find this entire system pretty seamless and the results are quite amazing. Don't need as much dye as you think you do. A little really does go a long way. I can't tell you how much I've been loving this, how easy it is to use, how much time it's been saving me, how much money it's been saving me. This bottle will get me at least 5 uses. This is really the only area that I need to maintain. Who knows, I probably have a ton of gray hairs in the back of my head, but I honestly don't care because I can't see them. So for me, this is just a total win-win. Once you've made your way around the entire head, you can go back with a little more color and apply it to some of the more stubborn areas or any areas that might look a little dry. And once that is done, we are going to grab our phone and set it to 10 minutes. You can do it for 5, but for stubborn grays, they recommend 10, and that's what I have. So we're going to do that. And while we're waiting, I'm going to go in the bathroom and wash out the lid and the brush and the cap. This is really important because we are going to be using this product again. So I put a little soap in the cap, use the brush to kind of swish it around, wash it under warm water, again, leaving the gloves on because you don't want any dye to get on those fingernails, ruin the mani. Once those look pretty clean, we are going to pop the lid of the canister and use a Q-tip to kind of clean out some of the dye and developer. I like to shove it through the front so that it pops out the back. So satisfying, it's like a pimple. And then wash it really well, again, with warm soap and water because you don't want that to harden in there. You want this portal to be completely clean for the next time we use it. It's super easy, just takes a couple seconds. When it's done, pop the cap back on and you're ready for the next use. Since I didn't film myself in the shower, I just wanted to share a couple of quick tips for making the washout process as clean and easy as possible. First, when you get in the shower, make sure that you still have your gloves on. The dye is dye and it will stain your fingers, it'll stain your skin, the tiles in your tub, so leave the gloves on as you gently massage and shampoo this dye out of your hair. And then I like to quickly rinse the shower down after, the walls, the shower curtain, just to make sure that if any dye kind of splattered around, it's cleaned up. At this point, I'll remove my gloves and sometimes I'll shampoo my hair again. Depending on your hair, you may feel like you need another wash, but when you no longer see any color dripping from the water, that usually means that you're good to go. All right, we are out of the shower, and while we did a good job keeping the dye off the skin, there's still a bit left. So one of my tricks for removing this is using a Q-tip. Sometimes I'll get it damp and push it against my skin into my hairline. I'll do this anywhere the dye really stands out. And while it's not exactly the easiest way to remove the color, it does work, at least for me. I actually do this after I leave the salon as well. It's always been one of my go-tos. But over the next day or so, your skin will produce more oil and it'll continue to push that color out. So after your next hair wash, every little bit should be 100% gone. If you have somewhere to be, I would dye my hair a day or two beforehand to ensure that it's completely gone. As you can see, the scalp will be a little red from this process, not from the dye, but it'll calm down in a few minutes. In the meantime, can we just look at those roots? I don't see any gray hairs anywhere. I'm gonna go blow dry my hair, put my makeup on, and I'll come back to wrap up this video. I dried and styled my hair, put my makeup on, and as you can see, there are no grays left. They covered so incredibly well. They are nowhere to be found. Applying that Vaseline or a lotion around the hairline is really helpful for keeping the dye off the skin because it can be really tough to remove. I think I did a pretty good job today, and then using the Q-tip trick helps a lot, but you still can tell there's a little bit in the hairline. I also have some little baby hairs around my forehead as well, so I think the color sticks to that and it's just very, very obvious. So I wouldn't recommend doing this the day of an event. Definitely do it one wash before the main wash. So I'm going to an event tomorrow. I dyed it today and I'll wash it again tomorrow, and anything that's remaining will work itself out. I will link a few different places you can find this in store. Honestly, the last time I looked, I had a really hard time finding it. I went to 3 or 4 different stores before I finally found it at a Target a few towns over. So I may just order a few boxes to have on hand in the future. It's really affordable. I think it was less than $10. Depending on how much area you need to cover, you can get at least 3 uses out of this bottle. I have a feeling this will get me through the rest of the year, if not more. And what I really love is that you don't have to wait for your next hair appointment. So I just did my roots probably 2.5 weeks ago, but going to a wedding tomorrow, I really didn't want to have to put cover up in them. So I was like, let me just dye it really quickly. You can do that. You don't have to wait the full month, the full 4 to 6 weeks. You can kind of use it as needed. You can just do certain parts if you want. If you just want to work on the front or the T part, it's really up to you. You can use as much or as little as you like. Again, it's super easy, ready to use, completely mess-free. Definitely have some gloves on hand. It does come with 2 pairs of gloves, but I like to use my own because they're a little more snug and easier to work with, and it saves me so much time. I literally leave it in for 10 minutes, whereas the salon I'll be there for at least an hour and a half. I love it, and it's one of those products that has completely changed my life. It's made it so much easier, giving me so much time and money back. So if you like this video or found it helpful, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already done so, and leave me a comment below letting me know if you suffer? I don't know if it's really suffering, but if you experience or have any gray or white hairs growing in and what you do to cover them. Do you still go to the salon 4 to 6 weeks religiously, or do you cover them yourself at home, or do you just let them rock? Let me know if you have a certain product that you really enjoy, but this one is for sure my favorite. But that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next one.